And I was going to talk about a different Eviolite Pokemon in our VGC segment. Spoilers abound. But no, I like that Sleep and...
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 670th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Bobby.
Hello. It's cold here in San Diego for once. It's been cold like for the last few days. I don't know what's going on. It's rainy. It's cold. It's not how it's supposed to be.
I don't have a good transition to rain into Gabby. Gabby is here.
Yeah, I would tell you it's raining outside if it was, but unfortunately it's been looking like it'll rain all day, but it hasn't quite started. So, but hi,
nice.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah. First time on the show, Gabby. For our audience that doesn't know who you are, they probably do know who you are if they've watched any of the VGC, or you used to do Pokemon Go for a little bit.
I did, yeah.
Broadcasts for the official Pokemon channel.
Yeah, and admittedly, they might not recognize my voice either because I'm getting over a cold, but we're thriving. It's all good. But my name's Gabby. I go by like simply Gabby Snyder is kind of my handle. And I do commentary for the Pokemon Video Game Championship Series in North America. I did a little detour to go. I helped get them started on their championship circuit broadcasts back in 2022 to 2024, and now I'm back doing VG. It's a vibe. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, we have a show for you guys today. We have confirmation of the Scarlet and Violet update for the Switch 2 owners listening. And then we have some Go Fest news. If you would like to pay for a more premium toilet, that is an option. We will have our Pokemon Sleep segment, which we missed last week. And then there are some distributions and a little bit of NAIC news that's coming up in about 4 weeks. And then if you stick around for our bonus segment, which we're actually making our bonus segment free this week, to everyone, Gabby will force Gabby to give us all the VGC secrets, or at least how she feels about this.
I'll try. I'll try. If anybody knows the real secrets, you know where to find me.
So that's our show. It should be a fun one today. Let's start off with some exciting stuff. Which is offnintendo.com. Which is the Nintendo Switch free update for select Switch games. Now, I know this is a Pokemon podcast. I'll just kind of go through all the games if you're a Switch 2 owner. It looks like on June 5th, when the Switch 2 releases. Oh, before we get there, Gabby, did you get a Switch 2?
No.
Oh no!
Did you try to get a Switch 2?
No, I did not
okay.
try.
Okay.
Not to derail too much, but the long story short is I tried for Switch 1, failed miserably, was sleep deprived, and just really sad. So I figured this time around I would just be preemptively sad. And we live near a Costco, and they're going to have some like day of sales. And then also GameStop is doing day of sales now. So I think I'm going to try to get one on like launch day if I can.
Okay.
But if I don't, I'm just waiting for the Pokemon release. So, fingers crossed.
Sure.
There's probably going to be an exclusive Pokemon one eventually. Why wouldn't they? They've done it before. So
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah.
I'm not in a rush.
Okay.
All right, so the June 5th update will apply to ARMS, Big Brain Academy, Captain Toad Treasure Tractor, Clubhouse Games, Game Builder Garage. I don't know a single person who played that game, but I'm sure they're out there. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, unfortunately not Pokemon Violet. No, I'm just kidding. Pokemon Violet, they put them in a different category. And then Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Super Mario Odyssey, Legends of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and then Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So these will all be free updates. Don't listen to those TikTokers. They're not paid. They're all free. They're all free updates on June 5th. All you have to do is put your Switch 1 game in and download it. And only for Switch 2. So even though Scarlet and Violet is getting an update, but only for Switch 2. Gonna stress that there. I feel like this update was super exciting when I heard it, when I saw it on like Twitter or Blue Sky or Cerebi or whatever. And then when I went to the source, which is this page, which we'll have in the show notes, nintendo.com/free update, whatever, I realized that the update is just copy and pasted from the other games. And then it made and then it made me like less excited. Because the update here, it says, visuals, optimized for the Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TV for improved image quality. Frame rate, improved for smoother movement on Nintendo Switch 2. And you're like, both of those sound great. And then you realize that was the same that they used for Game Builder Garage and Super Mario World 3D. And
but none of those games have as bad as frame rate as Scarlet and Violet, so it's more exciting for them.
I like your optimism.
Well, I mean, we all agree. It's not like people are sitting there complaining about the frame rate of Mario Odyssey. So,
That's
who
true.
knows how much different that's going to feel, but I think people are going to notice the Scarlet and Violet difference.
I'm sure there's one person out there complaining about the frame rate of Mario Odyssey.
I would like to see who they are, honestly, because I've played that game and I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of people play Odyssey and it looked very smooth.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks great. I did hear people say the frame rate was a little bad in the Zelda games, Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom, you can that's the Zelda one where you can summon the items, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played that, and there were definitely some levels where I was like, can I break this? And the answer was yes, I could break it. And I did take a couple frame hits in that process. So, but that's what's great about that game. You can ask and it will deliver.
Perfect.
Scarlet and Violet, I don't think many of us went into that game asking the same question, but it is nice that it's getting some love 3 years after release. I mean, they could have just not. So
True.
Yeah, so not on this Nintendo.com page, but on, I think it first came from a Korean Nintendo page, I think, where they uploaded 2 screenshots. And then now these screenshots are everywhere, so you don't have to find the... The source that I saw was, a Korean website. But it showed the Lag Lake. I don't actually know the actual name of that lake. Everyone just calls it Lag Lake.
I just call it Dondozo Lake.
Dondozo Lake is how I refer to it as well.
It's I think it starts with a C.
Casaroya Lake.
Yeah,
there
okay.
You go.
I
Yeah.
did Google that, so in case anybody out there is counting.
So they had one screenshot of that, and then they had one screenshot outside of Iono's town, which I do know that Lavencia.
Yeah.
There we go. I know some of the towns in Scarlet and Violet. So those are the 2 screenshots, and the lake screenshot I think gives us more information than these 2 sentences did on Nintendo's website, which, from my understanding, the Scarlet and Violet can only generate about 15 Pokemon when you're standing there, which is actually really impressive, especially if you go back to like Scarlet and Violet and you go, there's not ever 15 Pokemon on my screen. That's not to say Scarlet and Violet's... Oh yeah, sorry, Sword and Shield. I went back to Sword and Shield. Yeah, when you stand in like the Crown Tundra, you are definitely not seeing 15 Pokemon at once. That's not to say Sword and Shield are bad. I'm just saying they definitely ramped up the amount of Pokemon you see in Scarlet and Violet. But what was interesting about this new 4K 60 Ultra HD premium screenshot that they put out was that I counted 21 Pokemon in that screenshot.
I noticed that too. Yeah. I'm excited. I really want to see like what these games look like if they were given the processing power that they so clearly desire. I have this tinfoil hat theory that maybe they were supposed to land a little bit closer to the Switch 2 than reality happened because, obviously the past 5 years have been a hot mess. Let's not get into that. So I'm hoping that it'll be like, maybe it won't feel polished, but I'm hoping it feels more complete.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, I've said this on the show a million times. I think Scarlet and Violet would be a lot of people's top 3 Pokemon game if it didn't have frame rate issues,
Yeah.
and maybe you didn't fall through the floor. Which, to be fair, I've only fallen
that's
through the floor
fun.
like 3 times. It's kind of neat to see underneath the world. I kind of figured there was probably, I'm going to say probably because I guess we don't know because this update is so shallow in what it's describing to us. I think there are still texture problems with Scarlet and Violet. Not the Pokemon. I think the Pokemon look great when you go up to it. Like, I love seeing the scales on like an Arbok. That's very cool, and that's definitely something that Sword and Shield or Let's Go Pikachu or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl didn't have. They didn't have like the scale texture of an Arbok. But I think the world texture is not as great as it could be, and it would of course be very nice if there's a texture patch. But in the screenshots, it didn't look like those mountains were texturized any better. They still look like the mountains.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like, I didn't expect more Pokemon. If that's the case, like, I don't think the screenshot's lying to us. I don't know why they would give us an official screenshot with more Pokemon to be like, you're not getting more Pokemon. Yeah. So that's kind of neat. This is what we talked about on the show before. I still have this question. They removed people from the towns to make the game load better so the game wouldn't crash. If they're adding more Pokemon, which we clearly see, are they adding the people back to the towns?
I don't know. I feel like you are asking for too much.
But they're adding more. I'm just putting that question out there. They're adding Pokemon. Are they adding the people back?
That would be really funny if the same function that spawns Pokemon in the wild also spawns people in towns. Just throwing that idea out there, because that's where my mind went to. I was like, well, would that be the same code? I don't know. Maybe once every so often you see a shiny person show up and they just have like their hair dyed like crazy colors.
Yes.
Do you both think this is going to breathe new life into the game for like at least Switch 2 owners? Do you think people are going to be like, I was burnt on Scarlet and Violet. There's more Pokemon, there's more people, it runs better, I'm not falling through the floor. Well, I don't know about that last part. But do you think this will make people come back? Because they just want to see how much better it is.
Yeah, if they have the game, I think that they would probably play it, at least try it with the update. Yeah. I think it could bring people back. I don't know if it could bring people back long term. Like, I don't know if people will play past a weekend with it, but I think it'll definitely get people turning on their, like, loading up the game for sure.
Yeah, I will say, and this is where I think my perspective kind of takes a hard left compared to everybody else's. They actually released an update to the VGC rulebook that says Switch 2 consoles aren't going to be allowed for competition for the foreseeable future. Are not, yes.
Oh, what? Wait, this is breaking news. Beep, 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 beep.
No, do you want me to pull up the rulebook for you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll look for it while I'm talking. And it's interesting that they would actually go that far, which makes me wonder, like, if there is a significant performance improvement, because I do remember back in the day, there was this other tinfoil hat theory. Which
I love that Gabby has come on with multiple tinfoil hat theories so far.
I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart.
There we go.
I love this.
Love it.
That when you were playing a like new 3DS versus a classic 3DS at tournaments, because the games were running on like different platforms and the performance was different, yeah, it just like you'd get more game crashes more often.
Oh,
I can talk, I swear.
Oh, because you had two different devices playing each other?
Yeah, and
processing it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think it was actually like clock speed specifically, someone was telling me once, but this was all just us computer nerds kind of like sitting around noticing, hey, you had a disconnect last round, what happened? I wonder why that is. Oh, interesting. And just kind of like putting it together that way.
Interesting.
But yeah, here we go. Equipment rules, game systems. While the Nintendo Switch 2 system is not currently eligible for competitions, further details will be shared regarding future events. So
Interesting.
and I'll send this to you so that way you can put it in your show notes if you want.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was going to actually bring up. This is a good transition. I was going to bring up if you think the finals of Worlds will be played on a Switch 2. And I bring that up because I remember in Yokohama when they tried to do that special stage with the fireworks inside Mesagosa, it crashed like 3 times during the broadcast.
Did it? So in my defense for that comment, that was my last Worlds as a Go player. So by that point in time, I was just out in the crowd, tapping away, trying to get some shiny Pikachu. But I honestly don't know. Like, I think that if they updated the rules this early to say like no Switch 2s at NAIC, because that's essentially what this translates to at the end of the day. The only tournament that happens officially after Switch 2 launch is going to be NAIC. They must have a reason. Somebody must have tested this, and it's probably not looking good. Maybe if you can give the 2 Worlds finalists a brand new Switch 2 and have them talk to each other, it'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have that power.
Yeah, I just think of like,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of VGC on Twitch, and I feel like when VGC players are going for long times, you're just like, the game's getting a little bit slower each round.
It was interesting too. I played in my first tournament in years in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and there was one table that always had the disconnect. Excuse me.
Really?
Yep. It was the table I sat at for like 3 rounds too, which made me feel real good about myself. But yeah, it's like there's all these like weird little things, and maybe if they can guarantee that it's 2 Switch 2s linking up against each other, we could see something like that in finals. But like out on the floor when you're still using your own console, probably not.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a point, Gabby? This might be a question you know the answer to. With Go and phones, wasn't there you needed to sign into? So you need to sign into like a not a company phone, a tournament phone.
Yeah,
at a
that
certain
is true.
point.
Yep. So for Go, it's actually a little bit more egregious, is how I'm gonna say it. Just because you launch an Android app, and I know, Steve, you and I sort of talk the same language about phone development sometimes, so you'll probably understand this. But the spectrum of phones that can run Android goes from like potato to sports car, whereas iPhone is like you get in the range of like a good-sized, dependable sedan. You always know what you're gonna get, essentially. So they made a decision a while back to just purchase tournament phones, because when people were bringing their own devices, you might have a potato playing against the sports car, and then the potato just is not going to win because it can't necessarily keep up, and it just drops fast moves. You have to call the judge over to review the footage, and it just was like a big mess. So yeah,
that would be a problem for sure. So wait, what are the tournament phones that they buy? Did they buy Android phones or do they buy iPhones?
I believe they're iPhone 16s on the floor, and I know the stage phones are 16 Pros. Because I borrowed one of those for I borrowed one of those for a pocket segment I did a couple weeks ago too. So good times.
Gosh, I was gonna say this. I just thought of this. I was gonna say, well, they could have 2 Switch 2s on the main stage for Worlds, and then people could just pop out their cartridges. But that's not a Switch thing. That's a DS thing. The game data isn't saved to the cart anymore on the Switch. No, I didn't freeze. Hello?
Yeah, so we actually do that right now on stream. I'm sure people have noticed that we have like player 1, player 2. Occasionally on the European streams, you'll see like Victory Road as a trainer name. So the switches on the stage are actually static switches, and we just use team codes to load up the people's teams. So we could do that at any point in time. Like, it's just a matter of 1, did someone buy them? 2, did someone play through the game enough to unlock like all the better music choices? Because the couple of times we did where we didn't have those, it was kind of rough, I'm not gonna lie. And just stuff like that. It's more of a logistics thing than anything else.
Okay, well,
Yep.
I know the Pokemon Company listens to this podcast. If you need somebody to play through Scarlet and Violet before Worlds for Switch 2, you have my email. Send it on over. I can run through both games very quickly.
Speedrunner, let's go.
Yeah, speedrunner here. Just give me an email. We'll get that settled for you. Yeah, I'm very curious of how these games will run on Switch 2. I think everyone listening is very curious. I don't know. I don't know if anyone likes Scarlet and Violet enough to run out and spend $450 on a Switch 2. Maybe me. I think of all the 7-star raids coming, and I'm like, I want to do those
On a Switch 2.
on a Switch 2.
Would they actually be easier on a Switch 2?
That I don't know,
Or is it
right?
just-
Like, I think it's funny when like Twitch viewers watch my stream because we'll be in the same raid together because I'll be helping people go through Metagross or I think Garchomp
Yeah.
should be next technically, and they're just like, "You're 20 seconds ahead of me," and I'm like, "That's weird because I should be like 5 seconds behind you because you're watching me on Twitch. You're watching me like slightly delayed." So I don't know how 4 people are connecting to a raid boss and how the turn order is working and who's doing like,
Huh.
because at least with VGC it's turn-based 1v1. It's like I'm waiting for your moves, I'm waiting for your moves. So I'm curious of how, like, I would love to get 4 people on a Switch 2 together to do a Garchomp raid, and then I would like to get 1 Switch 2 and 3 non-switches for a Garchomp raid, and then like actually see if it does genuinely run better. Ideally, it should. It should.
I mean, on your 2, yeah. Well, if everyone's on the Switch 2, maybe, yes. But
Right. If everyone's on the Switch 2, that I want to see versus half Switch
Yeah.
2, half not Switch 2.
Right. I feel like the Switch 2 people would still, like, locally everything would probably look smoother, but like I feel like the moves and everything would still be off because of how quickly it's getting from like the switches to the server to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like could still be off in that way. I don't know how much better it would be, but like what you're looking at might be a bit smoother.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll have all these questions answered in 3 weeks? I
Yeah.
think it's 3 weeks, yeah.
Is it only 3 weeks? Oh my God. That's so
Wow.
soon.
Yeah, it's so soon.
Yeah.
It's very soon. Okay, let's take a quick break. And also in about 3 weeks is GoFest New Jersey. And they have premium bathrooms. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about GoFest Jersey. And then we have some Incineroar stuff and some more VGC stuff a little bit later on. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. This is off PokemonGoLive.com. Even if you're not going to New Jersey, this might be like the future of Pokemon Go events. So, or maybe not. Maybe it's a one-time thing. But evolve your Go experience in Jersey City with an all-new Premier Access add-on. Trainers, we are thrilled to kick off celebrations for New Jersey in a few short weeks. We're introducing an add-on enhancement for your park session. This add-on will offer an enhanced event experience for trainers that enjoy gameplay at Liberty State Park. And it will include a couple things here. One, it will include expedited entry to the Pokemon Center pop-up store to keep you on the go, which I don't think they mentioned a pop-up Pokemon Center until this point. So,
They usually have one, but
yeah.
and they did mention you could pre-order merch, but no, I think this is the first time they've actually said like pop-up store.
Mhm.
Yeah, they definitely have had one at all the US, most of the US ones, because I don't think the Chicago ones had any. Seattle, I feel like, was the first time they had
Yeah.
a
That
big
sounds
one,
right.
because I remember overhearing people in the store talk about how they had to keep drop shipping in product because it was they underestimated demand. for for the Pokemon Center. So you're getting expedited entry to the Pokemon Center. You're getting entry to a premier access lounge featuring upgraded restrooms, portable charger kiosks with lockers, and seating to recharge yourself. And you're getting an exclusive pin that you can pick up in the premier lounge, 1 pin per holder. And then there's a picture of the pin. This is an audio podcast, so it's hard to explain that, but it's a pin that you pin to your jacket or your backpack or your cork board at home. And then you're also getting a voucher that will be emailed to you the day before GoFest, so you don't have to use it right away. You do have to use it before the end of the year, but you're getting 100 Pokeballs, 100 Great Balls, 100 Ultra Balls, 50 Silver Pin Apps, 100 Super Incubators, 10 Lucky Eggs, 10 Star Piece, 10 Incense, 10 of each lure module, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, 100 Premium Battle Passes, 20 Max Particle Packs, and 5 Max Mushrooms. So you're getting all of this for the low price of $100 for your experience. And yeah, nothing about this being in Osaka, even though Osaka would be before this. Nothing about this being in Paris. I have thoughts on this, but Gabby, would you spend $100 on all of these items plus a premium bathroom?
I technically have in the past. Like, I've had some pretty spendy GoFest experiences, I'm not gonna lie. But at least for me, I'm effectively single. I'm only responsible for myself, my husband, and my dog. I don't go to music festivals. I don't really do much other than Pokemon stuff. So the $100 isn't as much of a stretch for someone in my position. And I have purchased all the add-ons in the past. I didn't this year. I cut myself off. So like, honestly, $100 for like the incubators and the raid passes alone, based off my own like GoFest experiences, would be worth it.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think this is meant for everybody, and I am in a very privileged position where I can justify this theoretical purchase. I will not be purchasing it this time around. I'll see if I regret it, because I do want to see how it shakes out, honestly. But yeah. I do think, based off of the events that I've been to in the past, and like my husband and I will run around, like last year we ran around New York City for like hours doing raids afterwards. Like $100 for a weekend of that kind of experience is worth it to me. So. Plus, I don't know, premium bathroom, does it come with like a mint or something? Like, that sounds cool. I'll take a fancy bathroom.
Bobby, would you?
I think you know my answer here. Yeah, I'd pay $100 for this.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, like, I think, honestly, bathrooms aside, I think just the items you're getting are worth it. Like, if you play Go a lot, if you use these kinds of items, 100 super incubators, 100 premium raid passes, like just those two things alone, I feel like are worth the $100. So yeah, I think it'd be an easy purchase for me. Again, like Gabby, you were saying, like, I don't think this is for everyone, right? Like, if you're more of a casual player, or if you don't want to spend another $100, I get it. If you don't want to spend another $100 after all the money you'd spend maybe flying to GoFest and get all that, like another $100 may just be no thank you. But yeah, for the amount that I play and for upgraded bathrooms, yeah, $100, that's fine.
Having access to like an room with AC as well, especially if you're somebody who either overheats easily, or like, I hope that by making this available, they could also maybe make it available, at least the lounge, to like people who have accessibility needs as well. Like, I see a lot of positives to this, and I feel like the only negative is that, yes, you are paying $100 for this experience at GoFest, but I was thinking about this because I saw this in the show notes, and I was like, well, it's kind of no different than like Coachella or like whatever, right? Like, because you have people there who buy VIP bands. Like, it happens. It's a thing. If it's not for you, no shade. If it is for you, no shade. But I'm curious to see how it's going to shake out.
I was on the GoCast podcast this week, and we were talking about this, and I was like, I've been right the entire time, because I've been comparing for years GoFest to a concert experience.
Yeah.
and I've always gotten pushback on that analogy, but I feel like this is even more like this is ripped right from concerts.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like if you've never been to a Coachella or an EDC or a When You Were Young Fest, they have not only this tier, but they have other tiers above that. But they do have here's a tier where you get fast access into the event. You're getting the bathroom area. Sometimes that tier will come with like the roped off area will have like its own food trucks or like shorter lines. Usually lockers are a part of that. And then there's like a higher tier with even better bathrooms and like usually a better stage view and whatnot. This is 100% ripped right from the concert experience, which isn't a bad thing. It's just what you're willing to pay for or not pay for. And I think the difference though, and so items aside, I agree with both of you. I think if you never use the premium bathroom you're getting offered, I think 100 super incubators and 100 battle passes, that in itself I think is like $300 technically.
Something,
At least, yeah.
Yeah. If you're, yeah.
Yep. So even if you're not using the premium bathroom, I think the difference between a concert experience, you're usually paying that like $100, $200, $500 upgrade for the whole concert, where this you're only getting 4 hours in the park. And from my understanding, you're buying either the morning slot or the afternoon slot, and both of those slots have sold out on Saturday. So I don't think you can go to the lounge in the afternoon spot if your play session was the morning spot. Because they did sell out on Saturday.
Right.
They did. I didn't realize they sold out. I thought they just sold out the pre-sale.
These $100 tickets from everywhere I read, it was limited for each day, and Saturday completely sold out. So you could still get this for Friday and Sunday. So I don't even know how many people of the.
Yeah.
So you already had to have a GoFest ticket to then be able to add this to checkout.
Sure.
So like Bobby couldn't just spend $100 in California with no intent to coming to New Jersey for the item, purely for the items.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm sure some people would have done if they could have.
It's a good bundle. It's a good bundle for $100. I mean,
yeah.
But to your point, even if you could be in the lounge area for the entire time or whatever, you wouldn't, right? So that's also another thing, is that this is an area for your break time, right?
Yeah.
Not like for your play time. So you are spending that extra money, and you're going to spend a majority of your time not actually in that lounge, right? Probably 10% of your time would be spent there. The rest of it is going to be out and about with everyone else. So it is, you wouldn't be spending a ton of time in there, which is fine. I don't know.
I think like there hasn't, from my experience, been anything in the pop-up Pokemon Center that hasn't been on PokemonCenter.com. I do understand the impulse purchases, and I want it now. I also understand, like, you're bringing kids or you're bringing somebody and you're shopping together, and that's a different experience than just like looking at a website. So I've always skipped the pop-up Pokemon Center kind of stuff.
There's no exclusive GoFest merch in those usually. Like there would be like at a Worlds, where there's like Worlds merch at those places. Right?
They've had like some stuff that's hard to find, and like I've seen stuff in there that's been out of stock on the website for a while in the past, but all the like actual GoFest like branded items, like the shirt, the hoodie, which reminds me, I actually need to order my shirt still. I haven't done that yet. Like that's all just pre-order. You just click the little box when you buy your ticket, and then you go pick it up. So
Right.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's-
they've optimized that.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, was it like because Go Tour when we went to Go Tour, Unova Go Tour, it was like, I mean, it didn't have they didn't have a pop up Pokemon Center there, but getting the shirt was so easy. Like the shirts that you pre-ordered and stuff, it was such an easy process to just walk right up, show them that QR code,
Yep.
and then get your shirt. So
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
they've got that down to a T. I do think there is a value in having a locker.
Mhm.
I guess my question is, does that park have lockers already there and they're just roping off that area for lockers, or are they moving and bringing in physical lockers? I do think there's a value. What was that?
Why would that park have lockers?
I don't know. Like, you have like a what do they call that? Like a hall or like a building, a community center, I think. And I don't know if the community center itself would have like lockers in it.
Do parks in Minnesota have lockers? Parks out here don't. Not
Look,
that I know of.
We have like a
You can
closet near the dog park. Does that count?
I don't know what's happening in New Jersey. They pump the gas for you. They could possibly have lockers.
That is true. You are right. And that annoys me every time I go to Jersey.
Here's I think this is a valid complaint. I have given Niantic this feedback pretty much every single year. They ask me directly for feedback, or they send that little automated survey that says, like, I hope you enjoyed GoFest. What feedback do you have? The feedback I have every single time at every single GoFest, it doesn't even matter if it's Japan or Europe or America, is that there is always more than enough room for more tents and more seating under those tents. And it seems that they moved GoFest up earlier this year because of heat concerns. When I played in Osaka 2 years ago, it was 111 degrees. It was insane. And I know they always put up the Team Instinct, Team Mystic, Team Valor tent. But even at Randall's Island, Gabby, I think you were at Randall's Island one of the 2 years, right?
Last year,
The tents were on one side, and then you got to the other, and there were no tents, but they easily could have fit another round of tents, which is more shade and more seating. And I guess when I read like lockers and premium bathrooms, like that's an expense. And I understand you're charging people $100. That's probably going to some of that expense. But at what point do you go, what about the people that are paying $25 for a ticket, $15 for a raid bundle, like, it would be nice when I'm buying a $30 hot dog to be able to sit down in shade, or just even have a seat. Even if the seat is in the sun, I would just like to have a seat. And Randall's Island and other events I've been to, even in Madrid, not a lot of seating. And I don't think, and some people need seating, and I don't think that, and there might be people accessible that have accessibility issues that would be like, this alone, to know that there's going to be a table for me behind a velvet rope, I will pay that $100 for my own convenience. And I think just Niantic could do a little bit more for us peasants not buying your $100 add-on.
Yeah. I will say, this wasn't GoFest, but again, at Unova Tour, there was, granted we were in a stadium, so there was technically plenty of seating. But there was no shade really with the stadium, and it was quite hot in the middle of the day. So if you were grabbing food, needed to sit somewhere that wasn't just on the ground, you were going to go into that stadium and sit, but there was no shade in there. You were sitting directly in the sun. If you wanted to sit under shade, there were plenty of trees because it was on a golf course, but you had to then be sitting you were just sitting on the ground under a tree, which was fine, but not fine for everyone. And it would be, to your point earlier, Gabby, like it would be a problem if you needed to buy $100 ticket because you would need to be able to sit somewhere in shade for accessibility reasons, and there's not a way to do that other than buying $100 ticket. Like the opposite of what they should be doing when it comes to that.
Yeah, but part of me wonders if by charging some people for it, maybe they can make the medical accommodations a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to think about things that way, but I feel like I like to follow theme parks and stuff outside of Pokemon. And if there's one thing I've learned from how Disney approaches things, it's like if someone else can foot the bill, it's more likely it's going to happen. So,
yep,
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
But I will also say that my experience at Randall's Park was at least better than the couple of years I did Chicago. Because I was there at the first Go Fest, which that was a time. Yeah, that was a time.
$100 Pokecoin voucher.
I feel like I was still cashing out on that Go Fest like years afterwards, which is crazy. That was a brilliant weekend. But like comparing the Chicago experiences to Randall's Park, like the fact that there was even just more space was a big improvement for me. Because like I remember feeling like everybody was all like crammed in, almost like sardines. And there just wasn't enough like area to go even see all the like installations and whatnot because there was just people everywhere.
Right.
So I don't know. I haven't been to this park in Jersey personally, so I can't really speak to it, but maybe it'll be nice. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I'm also curious if this is like an American thing, like we can charge $100 for like better bathrooms because Americans are used to that, and like we'll never see this offered in Japan or
maybe
like Europe.
Maybe the bathrooms in New Jersey Park are that bad.
Oh no.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying maybe someone who lives there can attest to this or tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. I'm not calling New Jersey out at all in saying that. I'm just saying, like, in Japan, for the parts of Japan the parts of Tokyo that I've been to, like, I don't know, there was like, I was able to find like pretty nice accommodations in different places I was going in public venues. And I'm not saying that's every part of Japan, and I'm also not saying like every part of America doesn't have that, but like I've also been to a lot of places in America where there aren't very nice public accommodations, so it could be different in that way as well.
Well, the Rose Bowl was kind of weird. So Randall's Island was nothing but porta potties.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they
had
had to bring it all in, I think, too, like from the bridges and stuff, which seems like that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My tinfoil hat theory for that is I still think the city of New York screwed Niantic on Randall's Island and made them a bunch of promises, and it was supposed to be a 3-year deal, and somehow they wiggled out of that last year and moved it over to Jersey to still have like New York be a play area. I stand by that. I stand by this theory. But for Unova Tour or Sinnoh Tour, both at the Rose Bowl, there were porta potties, but also the stadium bathrooms were open.
Yeah.
So like that, I would argue that a stadium bathroom is slightly nicer than a porta potty. I don't know if people
I'd
will
hope
disagree.
so. I'd hope so.
Yes. I wasn't in any of the porta potties, but the stadium bathroom was your typical stadium bathroom.
Yeah, it had running water, it flushed.
Yeah.
There's so yeah, I don't know. Again, I think the big difference between a concert experience and this is you're really only in the park for 4 hours. So even if you don't have to go to the bathroom for 4 hours, you went before, you're going to go after. You don't have like a small bladder like me where I'm going every 15 minutes on an airplane. That, you're going out to a restaurant, you're going back to your hotel, you're taking a quick pit stop. Like there are options that, unlike a concert where you're probably there for 10, 12 hours, you're like, eventually I'm going to have to use the porta potty or I'm going to buy the premium bathroom pass.
Right. Well, but name a concert where they give you 100 super incubators as well, Steve.
That's true.
I bet you can't.
That's true. You know what's funny is this will be our last thing before I take a break. Niantic paid for me to go out to Indonesia for Jakarta for the safari zone, and I said I feel bad saying this, but I'm honest. I said it was probably one of the more lackluster Go experiences. And I only say that because Jakarta does not have sidewalks. It's very hard to get around. You have to like taxi everywhere in Jakarta. They don't really have a lot of outdoor areas. And I even went to the areas that were like designated for play. I went to like 4 of the 8 areas designated for play. And it was like fine because it was just like a safari zone and I was still having a good time playing it, right? I guess my feedback was like, I don't think like spending, if I was to buy my own flight and my own hotel for this Go experience, it just wasn't as good as like Unova Tour or Hoenn Tour or a Go Fest, right? But they had an actual concert. They had multiple concerts. And they had like the DJ Pikachu. They had like
really?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
They had the Miku music that they were doing. They had some like higher fancy. I don't know the names of the bands, but like people waited all day to like see these people.
Wow!
At the end, and I was just exhausted from being out in the sun all day. And like, but because the DJ Pikachu and the Miku stuff was so good, I went back the second day and I was like, I don't care about Go. I want to see DJ Pikachu. I want to see Miku. And that whole experience was so fantastic. And really cool Niantic paid for me. The Go part was fine. Not the best Go experience. But I do wonder with like premium bathrooms, access to a lounge, Pokemon Center. When is GoFest going to get like more of what that was? Like when is GoFest going to have like, here's a concert, here's a drone show. There was a 5K run as part of that like weekend.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that was the 5K run, which I did with a stream backpack, so I really couldn't run. That stream backpack's like 10 pounds. What a memorable experience. Just absolutely fantastic. And so like when I like say like Niantic paid for me, that I don't know if they knew they were paying for like that entire weekend because like they only planned the Pokemon Go part. But like that will always be incredibly memorable for me to be like, I played Pokemon Go in Jakarta. I saw DJ Pikachu. I saw Miku. I ran a 5K and I got a medal for it. And in between all of those things, I was just able to play Pokemon Go. And that was like fantastic. And now that we have the concert premium access upgraded lounge and lockers, we are just getting closer and closer to like Coachella, when we were Young Fest, EDC, because all of those things I just mentioned, they have music, like that's the main draw, but they also have other stuff going on. Even back when Warped Tour used to be a thing, you could ignore the music and there was a bunch of people skateboarding and you could watch skateboarding. There was like a MySpace booth you could walk in to like update your MySpace. I'm just saying, I think that's like the future of GoFest or like Go events is to like keep adding more. And then capitalism wins at the end of the day with that too.
Minus the 5K run. I don't think Niantic or whoever, I don't think Pokemon Go wants you running a 5K before doing 8 hours of like adventuring.
I don't know, man.
I've heard of worse.
I want to run a 5K again.
I would do it in a heartbeat. First of all, the Pokemon 5K is seriously on my bucket list of races that I want to run. But like, as someone who's seen people do a dopey at Disney World, which is a 5K, a 10K, a half, and a full 4 days in a row, and then still go
that's
drinking.
Called a dopey?
It's called a dopey. That's the official term for it. After the Seven
from
Dwarfs.
the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay. You know, all 4 of those races, 4 days in a row, waking up at 3:00 in the morning for each one, and still go drinking around the world at Epcot afterwards. Life finds a way, my man. Maybe not that part for the Pokemon run, all things considered, you know, family friendly and whatnot. But I think if they found a way to do it, people would do it, myself included.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the only way, I talked to somebody at the Pokemon company about this. I was like, you guys, when we doing a 5K at Worlds? And they were like, logistically, that seems like a nightmare. And I was like, you let me know. Send me the Switch 2s. I'll play through the games.
You'll run the course. You'll set up the water break.
I'll be the guinea pig here. These are things I want other people to experience. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then when we get back, we have Pokemon Sleep, just a little bit of news on that, and then NAIC is around the corner, so we will talk about that. So we will be right back. This podcast is brought to you by Pretty Litter. Look, it's been a couple weeks now, and Archer is a picky boy. He's picky about his toys, he's picky about his treats, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's not picky about his litter. We switched him over to Pretty Litter, and not a single hesitation to use it. I'm going to speak for him because he's a cat, he can't speak. I'm going to say he likes it because he hasn't complained. Pretty Litter ships free right to your door. It's non-toxic, pet safe, household friendly, low dust. People like that in litter. Controls odor and lasts up to a month. And Pretty Litter will change color, giving you peace of mind monitoring your cat's health. It'll have the little color things on the bag. You can check the litter afterwards. If it's not right, you would know, and you can call your vet and get that looked at. I will tell you right now, Archer, healthy boy. He's good to go. Right now, save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy at prettylitter.com/PKMNcast. That's prettylitter.com/PKMNcast to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/PKMNcast. Pretty Litter cannot detect every feline health issue or prevent or diagnose diseases. A diagnosis can only come from a licensed veterinarian. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. And we are back from our break. There's a new event coming in Pokemon Sleep. I know we didn't do Pokemon Sleep last week. I know people were upset. We ran out of time. Gabby, are you a Pokemon Sleeper? Or did you play at all? Did you play a little bit, fall off?
I started it. I was always going to get the Go Plus Plus because the auto catcher functionality was too good to say no to.
Yeah.
And then when they released the sleep tracking functionality for Apple Watch, I kind of got back into it. But then Pocket came out, and I can only play like 2, maybe 3 Pokemon games at once.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been bouncing between Pocket Go and VGC. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
something had to give. I do still sleep, so that's great. But no, I wish I had more time to play Sleep.
Yep. I feel that 100%.
I missed breakfast this morning. I'm ashamed of myself.
This is okay. Hold on. This is okay. So I haven't officially said this on the podcast, but like, yes, I stopped playing Pokemon Sleep a few weeks ago,
You did.
and this is the reason why. Every time I opened that app, I felt like I was opening it like begrudgingly. Like I was like, oh, I have to get this done. I have to do this thing in this app. I have to get Snorlax fed. Or at the end of the day, it was like, oh shoot, I have to do this before I go to sleep and make sure this happens. It was never like, I'm excited to open the app and actually play the game. It was always like, it felt like a chore every day, every time I opened the app. And life's too short to be like doing chores with your games. Like I can't do it.
People who play Stardew Valley or Animal
that's fine if that's what they like, but it became more, I realized I was playing it like out of habit than playing it to actually enjoy the game. And so I had like a work event for like 3 days, and every day at the end of the work event, I'd get home and realized I forgot to like open the app all day. And at the end of the 3rd day, I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty nice. I feel better like not opening the app. And like the game's great, the soundtrack's great, like it's cute, it's a cute game, the art style is wonderful. It's just I realized that I was doing it out of habit rather than enjoyment. So no more sleep for me. So if you're on my list, if you're on my friends list, like you're welcome to remove me, because I'm not going to be giving you the candy each day or anymore. So
the cutthroatness of the Pokemon Sleep friends list. I'm like the opposite of you, Bobby. I do genuinely like waking up and not going to like Twitter, not going to Instagram or Reddit, or I like checking Sleep first. I like seeing if I got a shiny Pokemon, or in my case, I'm still looking for a good Palmy. I just like Palmy. I just want a good Palmy. And so I do like that. My problem is always like I'm waking up at like 12:30, so I'm like missing breakfast by 30 minutes. So that's always my problem. And I do like ending the day with like, okay, everyone's fed, everyone's checked. Okay, we're good. And so like that again, I can only also handle like 2 mobile games so for me it's Go and Sleep, and like Pocket for me is really struggling. I haven't done any of that Alolan Ninetales event yet. I don't know where I am at the Rayquaza event that ends in like 10 days. I'll figure it out though. But like Pocket to me kind of feels like a chore of like, I gotta rip these booster packs, otherwise I'm not gonna get more booster packs. But I like Pocket. It's just my brain can only handle 2 mobile games at a time apparently.
It's
this new event though, we'll go through this real quick. Is the New Moon Day event. Number 1, I think there's a new moon every single month. I think that's how the moon works. So
that's how the moon works.
So
There's a problem if there's not.
So there should be an event every month. It will do all areas. This event will have special appearance rates, and it will be harder for Pokemon to become full. That means easier to catch. It says you may even meet shiny Pokemon. Certain Pokemon are more likely to appear. Pokemon won't get full during the first snack time of the day. You'll even meet shiny Pokemon. All days will have a special appearance rate of Darkrai, and then a greater appearance of Murkrow and Honchkrow. So for the full moon, there's been a greater appearance of Clefairy, the Clefairy line. So for the new moon, it's going to be Murkrow and Honchkrow. This will start on Monday, May 26th. Murkrow and Honchkrow's greater appearance rate will only be affected during new moon, the new moon period. It doesn't say like what is shiny boosted at all. They're pretty like vague about that until that happens. After the event ends, you will no longer be able to encounter Murkrow or Honchkrow outside of Greengrass, Snowdrop, and Old Power Plant. So those are the 3 areas that they will be going after the event is over, which again they're seemingly putting all birds on Snowdrop because Snowdrop just has no one wants to go to Snowdrop. So they're really trying to make people go to Snowdrop. And then I believe Murkrow and Honchkrow will have a new ability in the game, which is not a new ability outside of the game, which is Super Luck, which is what they normally have. But Super Luck, it's called Super Luck Ingredient Draw S. Get one type of ingredient chosen randomly from a specific selection of ingredients. On rare occasions, gets a great number of Dream Shards instead.
okay.
One random ingredient? Or like all the ingredients they dropped that time are that random ingredient?
That's a good question, because I'm with you. And are you getting one individual ingredient? Because that doesn't sound very good.
No.
Especially when like Blastoise can get you like 400 milk when you tap on it.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, unsure. I like Murkrow a lot, though. Murkrow's good in VGC. Well, maybe not currently, but in the past.
Well, it was. And I was going to talk about a different Eviolite Pokemon in our VGC segment. Spoilers abound. But no, I like that Sleep and Pocket and even Go, like being able to highlight Pokemon that aren't necessarily quote unquote in vogue or meta for VG is really exciting to me. Like I have a coworker who's actually playing through Sun and Moon for the first time after the Alola cards were introduced in Pocket. So like being able to give Murkrow his day for the first time in a while, dude's earned it, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. So good luck on your Murkrow hunting. I don't know where I'm gonna go for New Moon.
Maybe what are you guys gonna say? Are you gonna hunt? Oh, I guess Murkrow's on everything during New Moon, right? During the New Moon period.
But probably, I'm assuming if you stick to Snowdrop or Power Plant, you'll be more likely to get more Murkrow, because that's how it's worked in the past. Snowdrop's the only like island I don't have fully leveled up, so if there's not an event that I care about, I'm living on Snowdrop now until the foreseeable future.
See, but you don't seem happy about that. That's the problem.
No, I actually don't mind Snowdrop because they put Cramorant on Snowdrop, and they put Palmy on Snowdrop, so I don't mind that because I do want those two. The only thing I'm like really also want is Dedenne, and Dedenne's not on Snowdrop, so but then Cramorant's not on Power Plant, so it's like this in between of like where to go. I think Dedenne is like one of the most useful Pokemon. Like I don't think Cramorant's actually that useful. It would just be I just want an orange Cramorant eventually.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It is. Yeah, I do wish Cramorant was a skills-based Pokemon instead of an ingredient Pokemon, because that makes Dedenne so much better, being able to stack those bonuses.
Yeah. I guess I have like a good enough Dedenne once it gets to 75, but that'll be in like 16 years because the level curve in Pokemon Sleep is so brutal.
Yeah,
and I think the max level right now is 65, and this game's been out for almost 2 years. So maybe by the year 3 we can get to 75.
Maybe.
NAIC Incineroar. Let's start with Incineroar. Get Wolfe, Glick's Incineroar and other special gifts during the 2025 North America International Championships. Watch the 2025 International Championships live streams to get these rewards. Like always, the code will pop up on Cerebi. I'll post it on Instagram and Twitter and everything when it goes up. So it's easy to find. But Wolfe Glick was the Master Division winner for the European International Championships, which is, according to Pokemon.com, his second international championship victory.
Yep.
His Incineroar will include Protect, Parting Shot, Fake Out, and Flare Blitz. It is not shiny because he did not use a shiny. But because Scarlet and Violet has the partner ribbon, when you send out Wolfe's Incineroar, it should say Wolfe's Incineroar when you send it out.
Yep.
Look, they did the meme.
Okay. Yeah.
They did the meme. Do you think Wolfe actually hates Incineroar, or do you think he just plays it up?
I don't think it matters at this point. I think he's been branded either by it or with it. And I mean, I don't know about you, but if my brand is that strong, I ain't working against it. I just feel bad for him because, like, I feel like everybody's going to be using it. I mean, admittedly, like, having a Battle Ready Incineroar as a distribution is a really good thing to have for VGC, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been funny if they picked, like, the Gothitelle on that team instead to distribute, just because I feel like that was more, like, watching back the finals and just how he played that team. To me, that was, like, the Pokemon that, you know, was the secret sauce, if you will. But I mean, it was bound to happen eventually. Let's be real.
I really thought they would have done the Gothitelle because they kind of stay away from starters unless they really have to. But also, this opportunity was like,
yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
It was right there. They knew what they were doing. I mean, I guess if he wins Worlds this year, they can pick something else. But they should do a second Incineroar then, because that would also be really funny.
Yeah, at least in the Sun and Moon era, they stayed away from Ultra Beasts. They seem to be staying away from Paradox Pokemon, and they usually don't give like a legendary. So it would have been either between, because I think Screamtail was on the team. It would have been either between Gothitelle and Incineroar
or Amoonguss.
Or Amoonguss.
Yeah.
But we've gotten about 6 Amoongusses at this point.
Yeah. Like, they could have also done Fluttermane, which I know there was a Cherish Ball distribution for it, but I don't think it was a VG distribution.
I think it was a Cora distribution.
Yeah. So maybe they could have done that as well, but the meme was right there. And if there's one thing I love and respect about the Pokemon social team, is that in the modern era, they just go for it. And that's important.
Yeah, they've gotten much better than, really, it seems kind of like in the last 5 years, the social teams have gotten a lot better, a lot more like lenient, a lot more like fun. I think at a certain point, probably somebody was like, hey, Pokemon is a fun brand, and you guys are really business focused. So you'll be able to get that during NAIC, and then I'm assuming whoever wins NAIC, that Pokemon will be featured at Worlds.
Probably at LAIC. I think it
probably at
usually
LA.
is. Yeah.
What did they featured somebody at Worlds last year?
They
That
did, but
was-
it was. I know they had like one distribution on site for something.
Yes, that was
Mhm.
was that Comfey?
I think it was Comfey, yeah.
Where you had to be in the building to get
Yeah.
it. Or they handed out like little cards.
Was there
I'm trying to look it up.
All right, as Gabby looks it up, if they're for Pokemon Go, they're giving out Amanda Buzz. That was from Potato Man's victory at the 2025. It's very weird that like everyone uses real, like TCG and VG uses real names, and then Pokemon Go is like, here's your in name Potato Man. So you will get a Mandibuzz, but you won't get their Mandibuzz. You will just get a random encounter with a Mandibuzz. They're saying your own unique Mandibuzz. And then you will get timed research for Volibile Candy and an Elite Charge TM. That will expire June 28th. Wolfe's Incineroar will expire June 20th. And you'll have to have Twitch drops on, and hopefully Twitch drops works this time. There's always seems to be a Twitch drop issue every time.
So I looked it up. Shout outs to Sarah B, because I feel like they always have all this information in the right place. On site, you could get a Steenie that had safety goggles and a Cherish Ball. And then for the stream distribution, it was Tomoya Ogawa's Sylveon that he used to win Worlds the previous year. So that was the seniors division winner, I believe.
Oh, got it. Yes. They never do anything for juniors. That's probably an age thing, but seniors and masters have always... I don't think they've ever done a juniors distribution.
I think they could, though, because it would just be their first name. And they publish that information on the website, so like...
Yeah.
True.
These juniors need representation. They usually have the more unique teams going into a...
Maybe this year. I'm curious now. I forget who won Juniors Worlds. I should know this because I commentated that match, but I'm going to blame it on my cold.
As Gabby's looking that up, Pokemon Unite Platinum Mew emblem, and then a 2025 NAIC in-game sticker for Unite. So there'll be a password that you'll be able to redeem for your sticker. And then if you have drops on, you need to watch the Unite broadcast for at least 30 minutes in order to earn your Platinum Mew medal. Let me give you some sick Twitch strategies. Number one, make sure if you need to link an account, you link an account for Pokemon Go. That's usually your players, your Go account. You link that to Twitch. Number two is if you have multiple windows open on Twitch, that can block your 30-minute timer. So if your timer is not moving and you're watching like 3 different streamers, that could be why. So if you're just focused on getting your Twitch emblem drop, make sure your other windows are closed. Obviously, you can try a different browser. You can try doing it on your phone. But again, it might be because you're watching on your phone, but somewhere on your computer you have it up as well, and that might be conflicting. So the last thing I can tell you is if a streamer is doing drops during this time, I promise you they have no control of how any of that works. I know Pokemon partners with specific streamers, and there is like, stuff for TCG or Go. As somebody who has been a partner in the past, all I say is yes or no, I want to do this, and then that's it. I cannot do anything else. So if it's not working, I have given you some help, but the streamer itself, they're kind of at the liberty of either Twitch or the Pokemon Company. And I think for Worlds, when it wasn't working last year, I think that was not fully on Twitch. I think there was some Pokemon issues on the back end that Pokemon had to work with Twitch to fix, and then they fixed it, and then it was fine. And then everyone got their surfing Pikachu with the flippers for watching the stream.
Yeah, you mean you're not tech support, Steve?
I am not.
For
If
Twitch and the
there
Pokemon
was
company?
something I could do on my back end, like hit a little refresh cache button, I would hit that button. But there's literally nothing on my back end that I can do besides like, I don't know what's happening. It's not working. Gabby, you were going to say who won the juniors division.
Yeah, so it was Kevin Hahn, which I thought it was, because I had a very lovely conversation with him and his family backstage before that finals. If we were to pick an event distribution from his team, the picking's not great. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Because it's Raging Bolt, which is the Paradox Pokemon, Rillaboom, Farigiraf, Urshifu, Calyrex, Ice Rider, and Incineroar. My personal bias would probably be towards the Farigiraf if I had to pick.
I think Farigiraf's pretty cool.
I think that would
For
be pretty
sure.
fun too, because it's seen some decent usage in the current meta as well, Regulation I.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could happen. Obviously, if it's going to be one of Luca's Pokemon, the Masters champion from last year, I feel like Farigiraf could also be there. But I think
awesome.
the Iron Hands was what really stood out to me on that team. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think Farigiraf would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If they gave Iron Hands, we would see a lot of it in 7-star raids.
Oh my gosh.
I think they gave away one of Marco's Iron Hands at some point too.
I think you're right.
They did. You're right. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember
I
that.
think you're right. And then there was an Iron Hands distribution in Korokoro as well with the.
Oh, there was.
I think it was Friend Ball Iron Hands.
Oh,
Friend Ball. I don't remember
he's
that
a friend.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah, they did something in Korokora where if you bought a magazine, you got 2 codes. It was like the past and the present, but your system couldn't redeem both.
Okay.
So if I got an Iron Bundle and then a Screamtail, I don't think that's the right combination, but I'd have to pick and choose, and then the purpose would be to give the other one to a friend, and so those Pokemon came in friend balls.
Got it.
Which is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was like Japan only. NAIC, it's coming up. I bought a flight and a hotel, although I was telling Gabby before this, I think I will cancel flight and hotel because I have now announced I'm going to Japan. I will be in Japan for about 12 days. And then I will be streaming Osaka Go Fest. So if you want to see Osaka Go Fest, that'll be live on Twitch. I will also just be walking around Japan. So if you want to come through streams and see Japan and ask questions and hear me say sumimasen a million times as I wave through people, I'm leaving for Japan in a couple days. But I get back from Japan, I'm home for about 30 hours, and then I leave for New Jersey Go Fest. And then if I was to go to NAIC, I would be home for about 28 hours, and then I would leave for NAIC. So I think for my sanity, I think I'll just co-stream it at home. And I get to watch all the matches. I get to hang out with Twitch chat. I get to unbox my Switch 2, which will be sitting at a UPS store for 5 days as I'm in New Jersey. So I don't think I will be at NAIC, unfortunately, but I think Gabby will be at NAIC.
Yeah, so I'm going to be competing this year. I'm also doing the GoFest to NAIC pipeline, but because I'm competing, it's a little bit less stressful, which is very nice.
Oh, if you're on stream, Gabby, I could commentate you.
You could. It could be, honestly, if that happens, somebody clip it and send it to me so I can reply with a Uno reverse like meme or whatever. That would be really cool. But I'm excited. Like we were sort of talking about this, and I've been talking about this in other places as well. My last, it wasn't even an IC appearance competing. It was a nationals. Competition was not NAIC, the North American Nationals in Columbus, Ohio in 2016.
Okay.
Which was the last double restricted format that I seriously competed in. And I actually got top 64-ish. Oh no, I bubbled top 64. I got 67th. which
that's
like
so awesome though.
yeah,
seriously.
like in modern standards, that's like really good.
Mhm.
So this time around, admittedly, said cold has kept me from jumping on the practice bandwagon as early as I want to. But like my husband and I have been tag teaming it. We have some ideas on what we want to run, and even if like it doesn't go well and I just kind of 0-3 drop, like I'm really looking forward to actually getting to hang out with people and see creators and friends. Because normally, like when I see people, it's like, "Hey, how are you? Okay, bye."
Yeah.
Which isn't the best. So
Because I think the last time I ran into you was Orlando regionals, and I was watching Joe's match. Joe UX9. I love Joe. And you came out, said hi. I went, I think we have a lucky trade. We did the lucky trade real quick. And then
I had to go work.
Then you had to go back work.
Yeah. And while I love it, like I love working these events, I think it's a very treasured part of my life. I'm really looking forward to reconnecting with the community as well.
That's cool.
All right.
So if you see me, please say hi. I will have Cheese League stickers, which is the name of my local league that my husband and I run. And they're just cute because they have my dog on them. So I'll be getting those out.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll wrap up the normal show. If you're sticking around through the credits and you're on the premium feed, you'll get the extra 15, 20 minutes of bonus content. But like I said, I don't want to gatekeep Gabby. Gabby is going to be free for everyone. So if you're not on the premium feed, if you just go over to Patreon, it'll be you just free account. You'll be able to watch the remaining part of the podcast on Patreon. I don't want to gatekeep Gabby. We don't want to keep this VGC secrets from you. So Gabby will be our free guest of the month on Patreon. But if you made it to the end, thank you. Gabby, where can our listeners find you if they want to find you?
Yeah, so I've been most active on Blue Sky recently, so I'm just GabbySnyder.com on there. Coincidentally, if you also go to GabbySnyder.com, I threw up like a placeholder page on there that I'll throw my socials on as well. You can find me on Twitch occasionally at Simply Gabby, but I haven't been able to stream too much just because of how crazy this month is. That being said, though, there is a nice lull in the season after NAIC and before Worlds that I am looking to try and do some content in. So keep your eyes open. Maybe you'll see me out there. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah. I'm finding Gabby at NAIC if you're going to NAIC.
That too.
All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Bobby. We will be back next week. Like I said, if you're on the premium feed, stick around after credits. If you're not, if you just go over to patreon.com/PKMNcast, you do not need to pay any money. Just you'll see the bonus part of the podcast over there completely for free. So thank you for listening. We will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
So I think Champions is going to have the same sort of... It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But I think that if we're looking at the long-term survivability of VGC versus, the ability to come out with a new Pokemon game every single year, like, it's just impossible to keep up.